come from out of the blue. Another color would do. We watch the clouds move all around, uncovering feelings unfound. And I can't imagine when, I can't imagine why I'd ever wanna leave you, dear. If we stay right here, we wouldn't have to worry about anything. But the morning came and stole you right out of the blue. Your eyes are full of yellows and greens. They turn into water and fall from your cheeks. Now we're going deep into the dark, and it's hard to tell where we are. And I can't imagine when, I can't imagine why I'd
unexpectedly hitting your head like a stick of lead, whipping you, flipping you out of bed. Cause I'm eyeglass, sidewalk, and sizzling egg, and we as hip-hop is a cripple with dreads, missing a leg. Visitors get addicted and don't wanna leave, blowing on trains from Kentucky to the Florida Keys. Humidity floats in the breeze, and this is the only place where shorties can go to the beach and go double D. Like good Jesus, let me rub some lotion on your cleavage, cause where we live, summertime lasts about 4 seasons. Parties are real loud, plus systems got clear sounds. Birds fly here with winter chickens in here year round, and they ass is meaner. The grass is greener and tap is cleaner. Follow me in any questions, ask the leaders in the blended genius of cunning linguists, spitting it clear. Sipping beer on a postcard like I wish you were here.
So come on down, show and tell with some southern bells. Tricks with treats you don't keep in the pumpkin hell. Hospitality, we treat our company well. From Kentucky bells of hay way down to Florida shells. Gals with chunky tails, looking like something swell. Niggas that need rails, smoke down on country trails. We try to visit after gigs and it's don't kill.
Hello. Welcome. We are Listen In. I'm Kay. This is Nora.
Say hi, Nora.
This is Alexis.
Who are you all?
I'm Jesse, I think. I'm not a cat.
We are your
but I
hosts,
sometimes wish I was.
people. And we're going to listen to some music today that we're bringing and chat a little bit about it. As you probably already know, because if you're here watching us live, you probably know the drill. So cool. Thanks for being here, everyone. We're feeling very out of practice today because the last time we took off, well, we did a listening party on our Discord. If you're not on our Discord, you should join because that was really fun. We're going to do some more. We caught up on some artists that we had already listened to in season 1. We caught up on their most recent releases. And we have to finish that playlist. It's like almost a 4-hour playlist, and I think we only did an hour of it. So we'll have to find time to continue that. But today we have 3 songs we're bringing to you. And before we launch into those, I think Alexis had some cool things going on. The only thing I have to talk about is the fish song, and nobody knew what I was talking about, so...
I still don't know what the fish song is.
I posted about it in the Discord, and you all didn't watch the video.
Oh, it's Koruk, the Koruk thing.
Uh-huh.
Oh, true.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, got some stuff to share, as Kay mentioned. I think as most of you all know, good things come in 3. You know, we got 3 people here on the podcast, and I got 3 little musical updates to share, or 2 of them are musical. One of them is not musical.
Does that mean you're going to sing them? Are they musicals? Do we have a background chorus that dances?
No, unfortunately, I was not that prepared.
I want my money back.
Okay. But first thing is today is April 23rd, which is the anniversary for one of my favorite albums that came out in 2021. It was my favorite album of 2021, which is this album right here, Before I Kill Myself and Fall Over. This is Porter Robinson's Nurture.
Sorry. You really could have convinced me that Before I Kill Myself and Fall Over is the name of the album. I mean, really could have, especially with the art.
Some emo metal.
I mean, my second favorite album from 2021 is actually from a band, or no, my third favorite album is from a band called The World is a Beautiful Place and I'm No Longer Afraid to Die. So, yeah, definitely could have fooled you.
Yeah, you really could have. Sorry, continue. Porter Robinson.
Porter Robinson's album came out April 23rd, 2021. My favorite album of the year. Fantastic record every year so far. I've made it a point to honor the album by listening to it today. The other significance with it is that today's my mom's birthday. So
Yay.
That's exciting. Woo.
Happy birthday, Alexis's mom.
Thank you. I will give her your...
I'm not sure you're supposed to say thank you on her behalf.
I always tell her to watch either the archive or a live episode. She never does. Maybe today's different. I don't know. But yeah, birthday, woo! And second thing going on for April 23rd is I'm going to a concert today. And I am going to see This band right here, Pedro the Lion. Is it backwards or is it?
No.
Or is
No,
we
it's
see it.
forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just making sure because it's backwards on my camera. But anyways, Pedro the Lion, I'm going to go see them. They're a very, very old band from the 90s, still doing the thing here in 2023. I actually already saw Pedro the Lion. Well, technically it was Dave Bazan, who is the lead singer. I already saw a show of his a couple months ago. So this is going to be my second time seeing Dave Bazan in 2023, which is really cool. Got into the
Wait,
band.
in 2023?
Yeah.
And we're not even 4 months in. That's
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see him again, this time in my city. Last time I had to go out of city to see him, but it wasn't too far. But yeah, really excited for that. I got introduced to this band through a very close friend of mine. So this is almost kind of like a bonding ritual sort of thing with me and my friend. So I'm going to go see Pedro the Lion with him as well. So really excited for it. So yeah, pretty good day. April 23rd. We're back. Got some music stuff to be excited for. Birthdays. It's
What
a
are you
good
getting
day.
your mom for her birthday?
Do
you
not
do
annoying
gifts?
her. Yeah.
It's fair.
That's
Yeah.
really kind of you.
Yeah.
High value gift.
Yeah.
Some
Maybe-
might say priceless.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I'm feeling a little inspired. Maybe some pizza. I see the Samurai Pizza Cats.
Yes.
So maybe some pizza would be appropriate for today.
Pizza's always
Pizza, birthdays, concerts. Jesse, you have anything fun?
I'm trying to take better care of myself. I'm getting back into sword fighting. Because our club started up again.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it was connected.
No. They are.
I'm trying to take better care of myself,
exercise.
so I'm looking forward to being stabbed and sliced.
Hmm. Well, I just win too much, so that doesn't happen. It's
Oh.
fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's fun. Enjoy that. I
Yeah.
don't have anything.
No. Are we ready to do some songs?
Some songs is. Yes, let's do some songs
Okay.
is.
New song approaching.
Somebody's coworker is here.
Oh.
I don't know. It
Oh.
might be Nora's.
That's my coworker.
Oh.
Hi, Zoe.
Hi,
Oh.
Jesse's coworker. Thanks for
Yes.
joining.
Hello.
We've known each other for like 6 years. We met playing
Oh.
video games, and he helped me get my current job. So
Cool.
yeah.
Thanks for doing a solid for Jesse.
Mhm. Thank you
Jesse's
very much.
coworker.
I'm very appreciative. To the songs.
To the songs. I think Alexis is first. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. Well, okay. So here is where a totally unclever serial experiments lane reference would go. However, I've not yet watched the series, even though it's been on my backlog for a while now. So please forgive me for not being able to be the one that could make that reference. The artist I am sharing today is one half musician, one half cyborg, one half lover of anime, and no halves a sweet AI. Let's not
150%?
let's not concern ourselves with the math. That's not what we're here for.
Math
We're
isn't
here for-
real, Kay.
It's a conception. What we're here for is Miss Grit, bringer of songs, and on their debut album, redefining the concept of what it may be to be a cyborg or a human or what lies between. Miss Grit conveys to us of there being a real living girl and a real living boy, and throughout the album we explore what it's like having the realization of being born with clothes. A realization I feel has come up at an apt time for many of us to sync up with. Miss Grit's journey with music has been one they started at an early age, having got their first guitar at 6 years old, recounting their musical journey they shared growing up, and still to this day being a rather quiet person in nature, not often loud, never really much to say a lot of the time. And therefore she has found music as a space to express different sides of themselves that isn't on display in other spaces of their life. even going so far to say that their love and attachment for the guitar, even at the young age of 6, was from how loud and explosive it was. It being able to let them to be loud, to allow them to say or stand out in ways that doesn't rely on their voice. And so the guitar is so much a facet of their personality, and being that, and being then reading. And so the guitar is so much a facet of their personality and being than it is just another instrument. Their debut album, Follow the Cyborg, came out earlier this year, and I was enthusiastically a fan, not just by the end of the album, but right from the opening song. I was greeted to a chaotic and dreamy mix of fuzzy guitars, glitchy electronics, strange vocal manipulations, and Miss Grit's poignant and meditative singing and lyricism that would soon serve as the foundation of the album's themes. I had a tough time picking a song off the album to bring today, as I really wanted something that would make the best entry point. Did something happen? Okay. I just heard something just change. I thought maybe I got disconnected. But anyways, we're still here. I had a tough time picking a song from this album, as I really wanted something that would make for the best entry point of Miss Grit's sound, as well as the album's focal point. And too many songs capture various aspects that are essential to Miss Grit in different ways that I felt she was really constantly pulling me in multiple directions. I decided to go with the song Lane Phone Clone, as this song has constantly been the one that burrowed its way into my head whenever I wasn't listening, just from its sheer what the heck is going on nature of it. I love the idea of showcasing something undeniably Miss Grit, and so this song was what I finally decided on sharing. Hold up your hands if you can't wait for me to shut up. Let's have a listen to Miss Grit with the song Lane, in parentheses, Phone Clone. Enjoy.
I didn't ask for this. I wanted to go back the first time, but then you hold me closer, and the lights keep flashing. Hold up your hands if you can. Hold up the act. Hold up your hands if your two lives overlap. Hold
All right. Well, who is ready to let go of their phone clone? Raise your hands. No phone clones here. This is a phone clone free zone. That almost rhymed. Well, I guess it did rhyme.
I think it did.
Yeah.
It definitely did.
Minus the word free. Free wasn't the one that was full. But anyways, very fun song. I saw Nora enjoying it too. She was getting her hands.
She was holding her hands up.
Yeah.
Yeah, on my arms.
Yeah.
Sounds very comfortable.
She's pretty cute. What is a phone clone? Is it phone comma clone, or is it phone clone as in a singular concept?
That is a very good question, and I wanted to kind of talk about that, but I guess probably none of us here is familiar with Serial Experiments Lane, because I don't know if a phone clone is something that involves something to do with the anime series or not, or maybe it's just something Miss Grit made up. I don't know. I have no idea what a phone clone is, and whether or not it's just something she made up or something from the series.
Cool. Looking for feedback from the audience then, so that I don't have to Google it later.
I mean, if you could clone your phone, that would save a lot of money for like if it ever broke or something.
True.
Is it a clone of your phone though, or is it you, a clone of you that is a phone?
Both. It's like a little me that's phone shaped. And like,
This isn't Chobits.
I'm looking at the lyrics and seeing if maybe there's any answers there.
Yeah, I didn't really find any. When I looked at it.
So something that stand out to me is this line, which is I think is my favorite line from the song. Hold up your hands if your two lives overlap. I don't know why, I just really love that line. It's such a cool idea of that that whole idea of like I think it's something that we think about to some extent, where it's almost as though we kind of go through life wearing multiple masks depending on like the space or the circumstance. Maybe to some degree more than others for other people. And I think like that line kind of like references that, where it's like in some places maybe you are someone else, and kind of acknowledging where do those identities overlap. I thought that was a really cool idea, and maybe the phone clone has something to do with that. Maybe the phone clone is maybe you're someone else online, or someone else when you're communicating, digitally, not face to face. That's what I've been thinking.
That's what Trick Switch just said in the chat.
Mm.
He said maybe online identity, and I
Yeah.
think that makes a lot of
Yeah, it
sense. I don't know. I like tiny person as phone a little better.
Me too.
We're all just Bixby's and Alexas.
And you're the
And
closest
Google's?
one to being Alexa
Yeah,
by default.
true.
All right. The song though, the thing that struck me the most was it was reminding me very much of Bittersweet Symphony, just like with more spacey sort of sound palette going on, like a little heavier, but like that like steady rhythm plus like the chord progression. I don't know if it's the same chord progression, but like very similar to me, and I was digging it. That's a good song.
Yeah, and the wah 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 wah
Yeah.
instrumentation felt very Verve as well.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. Like, I definitely got a lot of like 90s vibe from it, even if like maybe the sound palette is more modern. It definitely evokes 90s feeling to me. So the Verb really fits well with that, and they didn't even cross my mind at all. So I think that's like a really cool comparison.
Yeah.
I really liked the moments of like super glitchy audio that we would get that would sort of cut in and interrupt your thought process or enjoyment of the song. Not interrupt your enjoyment of the song, but like interrupt the vibe. You got weird words today. Doing
Yeah.
really well. Yeah. Yeah, but I did really like those bits when we got something sort of chaotic and sudden and unexpected. And I think now that we've talked a little bit about phone clone and the possibility of it being like a more online identity thing, it really does make a lot of sense in the context of the song to have those interrupted moments where things don't quite feel right or don't quite feel real. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And I think it structurally also helps like break things up a little bit because like the rhythm is so constant, like it can become like in one sense it's a little meditative, which is like a common Alexis song thing, but on the other stance, like you don't want to like fall asleep to it either because it's so like having that disruption is like, oh, here we are, like now I'm ready to listen to the next cool thing that they do.
Disruptive, perfect word. Thank you. Yeah, no, I think it served multiple purposes.
Yeah, and to go a little bit deeper on the whole like glitchy sounds and things like that, we also have like a comment from the chat where Jeremy DBD has said that it reminded them a little bit of 90s Bjork, and to kind of like tie this all together with like the glitchiness and the 90s Bjork, because I definitely feel a relationship there. From a interview that Miss Grit had done, they actually say how they don't actually really listen to a whole lot of like electronic music or that style of sound, which is kind of surprising with how prominent it is in this album, but also a lot of their previous work as well. So it's kind of cool to know that they are diving very deep into this sound without having like a whole lot of like major influences to cite. But they did credit Radiohead as a major influence for that aspect of the music, the glitchy electronic stuff. And Radiohead is definitely very inspired by Bjork, so it's almost like those separations of, or those degrees of like separation going there, which I think it's very fitting for what vibe Jeremy was feeling with the Bjork sounds. But yeah, really, really interesting how Miss Grit doesn't have like a whole lot of electronic influences, and yet you can still find those little atomic details that make sense. And yeah, I thought that was really surprising.
Yeah, I think that theremin sound also I think contributes a lot to that Bjork feel. I don't think it was an actual theremin because the tone was too steady. But like yeah, that tonality is in there quite a bit.
Yeah, a lot of cybery type sounds going on, which makes a lot of sense with the intro that you gave, Alexis.
Yeah.
And the phone theme. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm definitely really interested to get into the anime and wondering if there are any connections, whether thematically, lyrically, or any connections with the structure of the song, whether that's the way it pans out or the elements, the arrangement of the elements. Because this is actually kind of like a bit of an outlier on the album, slightly, a little bit, with its instrumental palette. Surprisingly, the album is actually more live instrumentation based, where it's more guitars, electric guitars, drums, more live instrumentation, and there's a definitely like more 90s, like a very strong 90s rock vibe to it. So I feel like perhaps maybe there's some context here as to why this feels like an outlier for the album, which is something that I would like to see if I can get from any sort of like outside influence as well.
Yeah.
I have to dig into it more.
I kind of want to just like dig up a synopsis of the anime now.
Yeah.
Spark
Free
noted.
marketing for the anime.
Yeah.
Free marketing.
Miss Grit probably should be getting some sort of financial compensation for that.
I don't know if y'all noticed, but I enjoyed how every time we got to the pre-chorus, it changed up a little bit. Like there was an increase in energy, I think, which I think allowed the chorus to remain the same pretty much every time it came in, but like having that variation really jazz things up, I guess. Is what I think.
Yeah, and that's actually something that I think is really cool with this album. After I listened to this album, I went back to Miss Grit's prior 2 EPs before this, and it was really cool to see the evolution in terms of songwriting, where the songwriting for the previous 2 EPs were more sparse lyrically, more sparse. But I would say that despite them being more sparse, and like the song structures feeling more fragmented, where I feel like this you can kind of like see like, okay, this is the verse, this is a chorus, so on and so forth. The past 2 EPs, I feel like it's a little bit harder to decipher like what part of the song is what. And I think that's kind of cool though. But the lyrics being a lot more sparse, it led to more of a meditative kind of like stream of consciousness sort of vibe to it. And with this album, I feel like it's so much more fleshed out in terms of like how it's telling a lyrical theme or a story and things like that. And I think when you go from having 2 EPs of it being like more sparse lyrically, like how do you change, you know, your approach to songwriting when it's going to be a more fleshed out song, when the prior songs didn't really have that sort of foundation. And I think to bring up Jesse's comment here about like, you know, when it's repeating like things to jazz it up and things like that, I think Miss Grit definitely does that a lot and very, very well on this album. And I think is a really cool contrasting point between this album and the previous 2 EPs, where even if they don't have like repeating choruses, Miss Grit does find ways to jazz things up in terms of instrumentation, or how to jazz up like things that do repeat, even if it might not be a chorus. I think it's a thing that they're very mindful of, and I really appreciate the ways that they showcase that in their songwriting.
Makes me really curious to listen to the rest. One thing I think that for me contributed to this feeling of that meditative feeling we're talking about is the vocals and how just sort of calm and consistent they are. Is that something that you hear throughout all of Miss Grit's music, or are there sort of heavier, stronger vocal moments? Not stronger as in like ability, but stronger as in just the strength of the vocal.
Yeah, and I like that you bring that up, because for the most part, Miss Grit's vocal, at least the delivery, the intensity, is very consistent. If like you take this as like a like snapshot of like what is the intensity level of Miss Grit's vocals, it does not get much higher than what you hear on this song. And I find that really interesting, because I think the walking away experience I get from Miss Grit's music, especially the ones that are like they touch on something that's like very emotional, or resonate something that you can relate to, even if like the vocals don't get like really intense or really raw, there's something that just feels very sublime with Miss Grit's vocal delivery to like really feel those emotions. So while the vocal intensity doesn't like really ramp up wildly throughout the album, at least specifically with this album. There are moments on the previous two EPs where there is a bit of a spike, but still there's some reservation. I'm not sure which word I'm looking for. It's one of the two. While there is still some like reservedness, I think maybe that's the word I'm looking for. There's some reservedness with how intense Miss Grit will belt something out, or the lack thereof. I think it is a really cool thing to see the kind of emotional landscape Miss Grit can paint regardless of the intensity of the vocal. And Miss Grit has also stated that they really like to let the guitar do that. So instead of like having like a big belty vocal section, Miss Grit will do like a really thunderous guitar part, or a guitar solo, or something that lets the guitar take that role rather than Miss Grit's voice. So you can get that thing that you're probably looking for vocally with something else in the song.
No, I don't think I'm looking for it, but it's like the anti-diva.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. I think that it matches with the consistency of that backing sort of rhythm guitar and rhythm accompaniment that we get without overdoing it with all of the sort of wild glitchy bits we get. I think it was really cool.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yep. Well, if you enjoyed the song from Miss Grit, I do highly encourage checking out the album. It came out this year. I've been really, really enjoying it. It's kind of weird. I mean, just look at the album art, but it is a very unforgettable ride if you do take that chance with it. And something that I really like about the album is how cohesive and cinematic it feels. And it's pretty short. It's like 30-ish minutes. But it definitely feels like from start to finish, it's the songs do kind of like, in a way, bring in a new chapter to the story, rather than some songs feeling like they stand out and feel like more like a single and things like that. So yeah, I feel like this is a really fun musical project to check out for this year. And if you want to stay up to date with what they're doing, you can go to missgrit.com. Pretty easy place URL to find them. Maybe you'll find their phone clone there. Who knows? But yeah, that's been Miss Grit, and thank you for listening.
Is there an artist called Shrimp?
I'm sure there
Shrimp.
is. There has to be.
There's gotta be.
Can we get a collaboration so that it's Shrimp and Grits? Please?
Oh, Southern food. I miss you.
Please, Miss Grit, if you're watching this, here's an opportunity.
Yeah. Welcome back to LiSTENiN. We are here today for me to introduce my song, because it's my turn to do that. That's the thing we do. Take turns. Right. And today I'm bringing one of my absolute favorite artists, someone I've been itching to feature on the show for a long, long time, Lizzy McAlpine. I love listening to her. I love covering her songs. I even made Kay record her own cover of one of her songs, Apple Pie, which I enjoyed. So I'm very, very jazzed to be doing this today. Lizzy McAlpine is an American singer-songwriter, originally from the fine state of Pennsylvania. She attended the Berklee College of Music studying songwriting, but left in her junior year to pursue music full-time. I just found out while researching this episode that she had a song named Ceilings she released this year that got to number 54 on the US charts and all the way up to number 3 on the Billboard charts for Ireland. Fun fact. Some other places you might have seen her before. She has had an NPR Tiny Desk, and she also is a frequent guest collaborator on the Scary Pockets YouTube channel. The song I'm about to play for you, Erase Me, Also features the voice and additional production skills of one Jacob Collier. Yes, Kay.
Celine's, also the sped up version, has been viral on TikTok for a while. Continue.
Oh, I did not know that. Since I do
I know
not,
you're not on TikTok, so I
don't
thought I would
take the
fill you in on
talks.
that.
Yeah,
If anybody
that's-
doesn't know, it's the little, it's the spinny dress trend. Continue.
Anyways, the song "Erase Me" also features voice and additional production skills of Jacob Collier, an artist we have mentioned but never featured on the show before. Jacob is a multi-Grammy award-winning musical genius, undisputably, who has garnered a lot of praise and attention, particularly for his composition and production skills and use of harmony. So if you're familiar with his work, keep an ear out for those influences. And when I first heard this song, I probably looped it about a dozen times and then listened to it more throughout the day. And I hope you're equally hooked. Here is "Erase Me" by Lizzy. Erase Me by Lizzy McAlpine, featuring Jacob Collier. Here we go.
At least you didn't say Lizzie McGuire.
No, that would be horrible.
Why am I awake? Nails on the floor and soot on my tongue. I don't know his name, but I still taste the rum. Nothing there but skin. Skeletons crawl on the ceiling, they know that him and his aftershave hit like a drug. Don't answer me, I'm calling just to hear you scream. And you're fading, but he feels like you in between. I've said too much, in and out of wanting us. Now you're fading, and I wonder who will erase me. Who will erase me? Race you to the end. My innocence waits like it desperately knows that I'll crash if I don't let you go. Don't answer me, I'm calling just to hear you scream. And you're fading, but he feels like you in between. I've said too much, in and out of wanting us. Now you're fading, and I wonder who will erase me. Erase me. Erase me. And I wonder who will erase me. Don't answer me, I'm calling just to hear you scream. And you're fading, but he feels like you in between. I've said too much, in and out of wanting us. Now you're fading, and I wonder who will erase. Don't answer me, I'm calling just to hear you scream. And you're fading, but he feels like you in between. I've said too much, in and out of wanting us. Now you're fading, and I wonder who will erase me. Oh, who will erase me?
Well, I can see none of us have been erased. We're all still here.
Thankfully. Our phone clones have not got rid of us.
Oh no!
Oh no! You're the only one that's
I'm back.
able to do that.
Nora's taking over.
I wish I could do that without creating static.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. So I know Kay is familiar with both artists, relatively speaking. Alexis, how are you learned in the ways of the Jacob Collier and the Lizzy McAlpine already?
I am quite learned of both the McAlpine and the Colliers of the world.
Right. Because I was I have my ideas, but I was wondering like what you two were hearing in terms of like the combination or the influences that each one was having on the song's construction.
Yeah, I think it's a really surprising duo, to be honest, because I think of Lizzy McAlpine and I think like, man, she's so chill. I go to her a lot when I'm just trying to vibe out, and then like Jacob Collier is like the opposite of that, or at least most of the time he's the opposite of that, where Jacob Collier is like 110 miles per hour almost at all times, and I think that's one of the reasons why I really really like this song is because it's such an interesting duo, but Jacob Collier is used so tastefully. I don't want to say used. That's a bad word. His contributions are
a dash of Jacob Collier here and there.
Yeah, it's like it's undeniably him because like there are Jacob Collier isms peppered throughout the song with like the vocal manipulation chop things. That's very much his style. That sort of thing Lizzy's also doing as well, which is cool to see like her you doing her like little phone clone of Jacob. So that's really cool. But again, like it's not like Jacob has like his own verse. Like when you see kind of like collaborations, like the person who's featured is gonna have like their own like section of the song, whether it's like their own verse or maybe they'll do the bridge. But no, he's just kind of like this accent to the song. He's kind of like this. He's like this presence that's always there, but like he kind of just shows up every now and then, and it really colors a lot of the elements. And
Jacob Collier is omnipotent.
Yeah,
He's omnipresent.
I wouldn't put it past him. I believe that.
But yeah, I think I really just find the execution of them working together, their styles blending together. It's so well done. I feel like I get enough of Jacob without feeling I need more. I feel like I can get into this song on a Lizzy McAlpine sort of way where, yeah, it's a really intense song and it's not one of those songs that make me, the lyrics definitely, it talks about, a pretty like heart-wrenching emotion that's very Lizzy McAlpine, I would say. But like usually when I listen to her, I'm kind of just like trying to get into my feelings and just be like, really like angsty, but like in a very quiet, mellow way. And this song's really intense. But despite that not being the experience here, despite this being a really intense song, I feel like the way that both of them execute this vibe, this collage of sounds and this collage of artistry, it's amazing. And I just love the song from start to finish.
It's so interesting that you say it, the combination surprises you, because to me it makes so much sense. Because they're like really good friends, right? They post videos around campfires harmonizing together. I think they have one out that's like the two of them and Victoria Canal. Is that how you're saying her last name?
Yeah. That's super cool.
There's like a video of the three of them harmonizing. And I also kind of think of Jacob as this like musical weirdo, and I say that lovingly. Who just likes to push boundaries, right? But also I think of him sort of as like a king of harmony.
Yeah.
And my first introduction to Lizzy McAlpine was actually on cover videos on Instagram. I forget who reposted one of hers, but maybe it was like Julia Michaels reposted something from Lizzy on her story. And I was like, oh, her voice is so pretty. And I followed her and I'd been following her since. So I'd heard her voice a lot before she actually started to release her own music regularly in recent years. And those were like always very harmonically crisp and clean and, just perfectly executed, beautiful, but not over the top showy runs. And in a way, to me, they exist in a similar space as far as like musicianship goes. They have different styles of their own music for sure, but to me, their strengths work together really well. Alexis looks like he does not believe what I'm saying.
Oh no.
But also he's frozen. Okay,
There we
that
go.
was the problem. It wasn't me
Yeah.
then, it was your phone clone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me it made a lot of sense, the collaboration, both just because I think they know each other outside of business, and also because they're good at a lot of the same things, so it makes perfect sense that together they could sort of make a magical song.
Yeah.
But also, I think we see featured producers. I certainly see it a lot in some circles of music. I'm thinking like there are some songs from Becky Hill, if you're not familiar, she's a British EDM type artist, but she's a singer. She has a lot of features that she'll feature a producer, and the producer isn't like having a verse or singing a song. The producer is producing it. So that made sense too.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you you're wrong, Alexis. I'm just saying I had a different experience coming into this.
For me, like the opening chorus, like the melody overall seemed very Lizzy. And then like they're like obviously you've got like the do 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 stuff and like the multi part harmonies. That's a very Jacob thing. But I really enjoyed how it, except for one part after the bridge where like they were doing a very definite like stop start with like the different styles, it really blended together kind of seamlessly. Like they kind of eased into each other's sounds, and I think if you were to just like write out what different parts were happening where, it would seem kind of like a call and response, but because it was just like produced so well to like have both of those elements, it didn't shock me at any point. It's like, oh, this is just what's happening, and it's a cool sound palette to work with.
And I think even those sudden starts between the styles made a lot of sense musically, with it having a big build and then kind of sucking back in like a vacuum. I always think that's a really effective tool when artists use that kind of thing, to sort of shock in a good way, but pull you back into the song after something so big. I don't think I've ever, and I haven't listened to a ton of Lizzy's releases, honestly, but I don't think I've ever heard her sing that aggressively.
Yeah, that's kind of
so
true.
That was surprising to me, because I feel like I don't normally get that from her and the songs that I have heard and I have listened to regularly.
Yeah, she matched the energy of the instrumentals, which normally her instrumentals are just like chill guitar and piano. So yeah. I want to stop to read the comments a little quick. We got some good ones while we were listening. Trickswitch says that bassy or bassy.
It's the fish song.
We were talking about fish songs earlier.
Everything comes back to the fish song. Speaking of the fish song, Olivia Barton of the Fish Song is on tour with Lizzy McAlpine right now.
Yeah. Really?
Awesome.
Look at that.
It's meant to be.
Wow.
Trickswitch said that bassy fall thing does magic. Correction, all of this does magic. Definitely with you there. And Jeremy said her voice and that beat matching her flow was so good, which is like another thing that like I don't know whether they did it, which came first. Like, did they plan on having that rhythm, that's like syncopation going on, where like her voice would match the beat, or like did they match the beat after she did the vocal or whatever? I don't know, but it's cool. It sounded really cool.
Yeah.
And then one more comment that I'm definitely agreeing with, when the song ramps up like that, it's so fun. Gives me little neck goosebumps. That was also from Jeremy. Like there were parts where particularly the bass and the sub bass would kind of like whoop, like build up very rapidly during transitions, and like it's like the opposite of a drop. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it has the same sort of impact for me.
A lift.
A lift?
Is that the opposite of a drop?
A rise.
A rise. We making bread here.
Yeah.
Uh,
A lot of neck goosies are rising too.
yeah.
Got the tingly sensations.
Yeah, no, those were really cool parts. It was a really great collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine them happening kind of at the same time, right? Like working out the song together and being like, oh, what if I do this? Oh, what if I do this? And then it becomes this big build that.
Have you seen any of Jacob's process? So he makes. He wasn't the primary producer for this song, which kind of surprised me because like he seems to be so in it. But what he does a lot of times when he collabs with people is they'll do it remotely, and he'll have his own studio where he's got like his 20 bajillion instruments on the walls, and like all these like 10 different mics and stuff like that. But he will collab by having the people he's working with like download a program on their computer, and then he kind of VPNs into their computer and controls it so that like he can tweak like they share the master that they're working on at the same time. So he could definitely be like, oh, let's try it this way, or like if she's like, oh, I want to do this thing, he's just like, bam, there we go, we're doing it. So,
Dang,
yeah,
that's crazy.
that is
Great.
crazy.
He's not even listed as a producer on Spotify. He's only listed as a writer. And that's really surprising to
on
me.
Genius he has credits for additional production. So
Oh.
yeah,
Whatever that means.
whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
And also co-songwriter, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Could have fooled me.
Awesome.
Yeah. One more thing I want to talk about before we
Yeah.
transition over is Lizzy's tone and like her vocal quality is just so magical to me. Like it's got this sort of like dark quality, but it's also like it's like dark and bright at the same time. Like her treble is like really crisp and clear, but like her overall tonality like is just kind of like rich and warm at the same time, which I think is really cool for me. And also like her vocal technique, like this, like of course like all modern production is like has like compression and a little bit of reverb and all that stuff, but like it sounds very natural to me. And her inflection and her control of pitch and like her vibrato especially is like really impressive to me. Yeah.
She can sing anything. She has a style of singing, and I don't know if it's just because my first introduction to her voice was like Instagram, so I had video with it, but she has a style of singing where even if I'm just listening to her, I can almost feel and see the way her mouth is moving because of the way that she pronounces words is so distinct when she's singing. And I feel like that pronunciation is a lot of what is actually contributing to the uniqueness of her tone as well. If you really like, if you could watch, I don't know if she has new videos up. I'm not good at Instagram, but if you watch old videos and just like watch her mouth, it is really, really interesting to see the way that she sings. It's sort of mumbly, but it's so crisp and clear at the same time. Yeah, but I don't know. That's a thing for me that maybe that's a weird thing to really enjoy, but that's the thing I really enjoy about her vocals is just the way that she pronounces words.
No, I get that. That's a similar thing that I experienced with Alan Stone is that like if you look at his mouth, like you can see the sounds that are coming out. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to watch a little more closely with her stuff. All right. Anything else?
Something.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I think something that I really liked with this song, probably not intentional, maybe it was, who knows, but it's kind of like the sort of way the lyrics were kind of like working in tandem with the music in a way. So like in the first verse where, you know, the arrangement is mostly just that fiery sort of sounding guitar. Not a whole lot is happening, and then we get that this feeling of like whiplash in a way when that descending bassy thing happens, the bassy magic happens, and you're like, whoa, that's interesting, because like it's like it's out of element from like what's happening right now, which is just voice and guitar. But like, you know, that line ends where she's like, I don't know his name, but I still taste the rum, and then she ad-libs the word rum, and the way that it's ad-lib is in that very Jacob Collier sort of like vocal choppy thing, and it only happens for a second, but like just that ad lib, the way that it was used, it's like it sets what's to come, where the song, you know, becomes a lot more Jacob Collier, and it's like, whoa, okay, so this is kind of like a little foreshadowing. So I thought, you know, those little details were like really, really cool, how like the lyrics in a way are working in tandem with the music, and I think this is at most this is at display the most in the last chorus, which I want to say is probably like a perfect last chorus, outro chorus of a song. If I was to like give an example, like this is one of those perfect end choruses where it is just so different. Like the lyrics are all the same, but the way that it's presented is so different from all the previous chorus. It starts off quiet, it gradually builds. The instrumentation, the guitar is doing like, you know, just single stroke chords rather than the rhythm. It eventually gets back to that rhythm that happens throughout the song, but just all these small choices that like make this final chorus feel different. It's just masterful, beautiful. And then that lyrical thing that working in tandem with the music happens here, where there's the line where it's don't answer. No, that's not the line. The line where it's where is it? And I've said too much, in and out of wanting us. That line where all the instruments drop out, and then she says in and out, and then the music comes back, and I was like, oh, it's like the music's going in and out in a way. It's just a lot of these small details, like when you are aware of it, it just makes those moments feel even more special. I thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah, it's there, but it's not so on the nose that you're like, that's cheesy. Like it's it's just fun.
Yeah, and it goes back to that reverse drop, the rise, the lift, because like when it comes back, it's not like it's just a hard comeback. Like it just pushes back in. The music kind of just pushes in rather than it just like drops out flat and then comes back in. You know, it's not like a 100%, 0%, 100%. You know, it's not like that. It's not like a digital signal. It felt more analog in that it was a ramp up back into the music. And it was just like, oh, it's really beautiful.
It really feels like the way the song manages energy is really masterful in the production and in the writing and in the way the vocals are delivered. And the way the harmonies come in and build up and just expand into this like what feels like infinite universe of harmony.
Yeah.
The Collier effect.
That could be his next album, actually, the infinite universe of harmony. I would believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, like I said before, if you like more of Lizzy, check out Scary Pockets recordings, Tiny Desk, Instagram. Apparently, she's got a lot of cool stuff. I really want to dig into that trio with
I'm going to
Jacob
post it in
and-
the
yeah.
Discord. Join our Discord.
Yay.
So you don't have to look it up.
Nice. All right. Next song. Let's go.
Hello, we are listening. We are listening to songs today. This is the last song of today's show, but these will be posted on YouTube individually. So if you're watching this, you have 2 others to catch up on if you haven't already seen them. If you're watching this live, you've already seen them. Cool. Now that we got that out of the way, we're going to listen to some music. The artist I'm sharing today is one that I've known my whole life because it's my older sister. Thank you. I asked Josie and Alexis to make a nepotism joke for me. I didn't expect that, so thank you. I really appreciate that.
That's
You're
perfect. Amazing.
Karen Jonas started playing guitar and writing songs when she was in high school, and I am trying to hold back from giving like way too much information that would be embarrassing to her that she doesn't want out in the world. So we'll move forward. After college, her folky singer-songwriter sound started to take on more of a country Americana influence, resulting in a re-debut of sorts as a solo artist, Karen Jonas. She had been in some other projects before that. She had been making that folky music under her maiden name prior to that. Maiden name is such a weird term. Unmarried name? Anyway, her other name. And 6 albums and a decade later, she's still evolving her sound with every record. Her latest release from March 3rd of this year, The Restless, is no exception to that. I asked Karen to help me introduce the song from The Restless, so here's a little bit about her song, The Breakdown, from the artist herself.
Hey, I'm Karen Jonas. Glad to be here on the LiSTENiN podcast with my new record, The Restless. I think we're going to play The Breakdown. And to really be in the mood for The Breakdown, you need to picture the trashiest, seediest bar in your hometown. Here in Fredericksburg, Virginia, where I am, the trashiest bar, believe it or not, is called Happy Endings. So if you don't have your own trashy bar, just imagine you're here in Fredericksburg at Happy Endings, and I hope you enjoy the song.
So imagine your favorite dive bar or Happy Endings if you don't have one, and let's listen to The Breakdown off of The Restless.
Sometimes I forget that you even exist. Sometimes I miss you. But if we're both still here after a couple of drinks, I still kiss you. Yeah, maybe I knew that I'd find you here, but the coincidence still feels sincere. It's a small town, honey, you're not gonna lose me that easy. Oh, you said that I'm crazy. Oh, you know I might be, baby, but listen, this is not the party we want to be at. How about we ditch this senior past? Do you want to walk or just hold my hand? Oh, I got ahead of myself, I bet. Why you sipping on whiskey and regret? But baby, I'm here for the breakdown, so let's break it down again. This morning I was shopping, I saw your ex-wife, and I'm not even sure what she looks like. So just to be careful, I hid in the frozen food aisle. And I guess I don't know how you left it with her, but I assume you went through with a divorce. She's buying waffles and I'm looking for dessert. Oh, you said that I'm crazy. Oh, you know I might be, baby, but listen, this is not the party we want to be at. How about we fall in love real fast? Do you just talk or do you want to act? Oh, I got ahead of myself, I bet. Why you sipping on whiskey and regret? But baby, I'm here for the breakdown, so let's break it down again. Well, I really could use another drink. Don't you think it could buy me a drink? Come on over and buy me a drink, and then let's get out of here and get closer. Oh, you said break it down again. Honey, I'm here for the breakdown, just don't want it to end. Yeah, I'm here for the breakdown, let's break it down again.
How is
Well,
it?
It's fun.
I'm here for the breakdown of the breakdown.
It beat me to it.
Breakdown of the
Dang
breakdown.
it.
Twins.
Yeah.
Twin moment.
We're practically the same person.
Phone clones.
This is actually just a
Clones.
two-person podcast.
Yeah, it was super fun. I really enjoyed the lyrics as well. Is it supposed to be funny? Because I found the second verse like hilarious. Okay.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah, I think
was-
it's supposed to be kind of cheeky and cheesy and sort of like a little bit of like grease doo-woppy
Uh-huh.
cheesy. Yeah, no, it's supposed to be corny.
It's-
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the hiding in the frozen food aisle,
Yeah.
and then that like through with the divorce, like
Yeah. Right. That's definitely intentional.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's really
Okay,
fun.
that's good to know. Yeah, because I was curious about the same thing too. I was like, am I supposed to find this like amusing and humorous as much as I am? Because I was having a great time, and a lot of it was because of like how just like funny I was finding it, and I'm glad that that was intentional because they definitely hit the mark on making me just have a good time with the song itself, but like also really laugh at the things I think that they were just like trying to make me laugh at.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a little corny. That and the like the breakdown of the song happening after. Let's break it down again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A little too on the nose, but no, it's supposed to be like that.
Mhm.
And I think it makes it really fun. I think it takes a sound and a genre that maybe could be too serious sometimes and like takes itself too seriously sometimes. I think it's fun when artists take a moment to like laugh at themselves in a way. That,
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but we're talking about genre. Like it's not something I've never heard before, but like it's certainly a rarity to have this sort of combination of country and doo-wop. It's a little bit of country, it's a little bit of rock and roll. And it worked really well though. Like it seemed very natural to have that sort of country style guitar together with like the doo-woppy rhythm and the background vocals.
I think very rarely is Karen's music pure country. Like I said, she comes back from that like folk singer-songwriter-y background. And I've heard her music described as a lot of things over the years. There's been country, alt country, Americana, roots, folk, alt folk, country folk, and then you just combine those in any potential country rock. Like we can't figure out what it is.
It's the country Voltron.
Yeah, because it's not like radio country as some people call it, but it's also not quite like old style country either. There are a big variety of influence, and I would say this is like the rest of the album doesn't have this sort of doo-wop influence. It's got other different influence. There's like a song that's a little jazzy, and there's a song that's sort of I don't even know how to describe it, but it's all over the place.
Yeah, that definitely makes me think of like Yola, who I brought before, and her album definitely has that similar kind of kaleidoscope of genres and sounds, whether it's within a single song or just the album itself.
And speaking of
With some
previously featured
consistency.
stuff that reminded me of, her voice sounds an awful lot like Sammy Ray's, I think. Like just the tonality and like also part of, I mean the structure of it, because Sammy Ray is also like a little bit of, like jazzy doo-wop sort of thing going on, so I think that's what kind of triggered that in my head. It's nothing but a compliment. I really enjoy her too. So yeah.
That's interesting. I hadn't even made that connection before. Somebody's saying they're having trouble finding the lyrics to this song. I think they're on Genius and Bandcamp.
I use Bandcamp.
Oh, I posted the Genius link for you. Alexis.
I was very. Does it make me more lazy or less lazy for not going to this?
Doing more work
because I did more work.
We always
Extra
share
credit.
the link to lyrics with each other, but apparently there are lyrics multiple places. I think if you search for Karen Jonas, the breakdown lyrics, it'll come up. So if you're looking for him, but lyrics are a thing that she's been praised on a lot. This song is a little less storytelling-y in that it's telling a story, but not quite as obviously, maybe. But she definitely has a lot of previous releases that are much more of like a country storytelling type song.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Something.
And I think no, go ahead.
Fight.
You go.
What I was going to say is I also really liked the way that Karen set up the vibe and the ambience for the song with the introduction, I guess, to the song that they contributed, which is like, you know, trying to give us a space of like to think about for this song. So while this song might not be as storytelling as prior songs, just getting that little detail and that being essential to the song, I think contributes to that whole storytelling sort of vibe. And honestly, just getting that, like, she could have said anything to introduce the song. She could have introduced the song in any sort of way, but the fact that she chose that as a way to introduce the song, I felt like it really helped me capture the vibe of the song and the ambience. It felt more of like a sensory experience for me, which also made the the situations a lot more funnier because like I felt like I was there in a way witnessing it happening. So yeah, I did really enjoy the way that she introduced this song because I felt like it just really perfectly got me into it.
Yeah, I had a very similar comment actually. So she said, like, imagine you're in a dive bar, and the recording had a very live band feel to it. I think something that helped that is the stereo split. Like, so the backing vocals were like mostly on the left side, and like the drums were on one side, and the guitar was on one side, and then I think that, and it wasn't like overdone. It wasn't like distracting, but it was like, oh, if you're listening for it, like this is what's going on, and you can kind of close your eyes and imagine you're in that bar, which is really cool. Yeah.
I loved the stereo backing vocals. I was really happy to hear them. Partially because and especially with how kind of like silly and cheesy they are, I imagined like a cartoon character with the little cartoon angel and devil. And it's the little angel and devil on the shoulders singing through with the divorce.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I thought that was really fun. It definitely added I feel like it added some of that like silliness, like we're not taking ourselves super seriously here to have it, so because they were pretty panned to one side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, making sure I just didn't hear them that way.
Oh, I have to ask, Kay, is this a thing that she really did? Is hide in the frozen food aisle, stalk the ex-wife?
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past her. I feel like hiding from somebody she doesn't want to talk to is definitely something that might happen in real life.
Is there a history in your family of playing hide and seek in supermarkets?
Looking for dessert? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm really glad she went for dessert and not ice cream because it wouldn't have fit there though.
No.
No. But I really need to know what kind of dessert. Like one of those frozen pies? Probably not. She'd bake a pie.
Kay can ask her sister and put in the Discord so you can join. See all the inside scoops.
Scoops. Nice one.
Text her right now, but she probably won't text me back.
Aw, womp womp.
Give her a day. She has a music career and 4 children, and so trying to balance all of that is a lot.
Yeah.
That does sound like quite a bit, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Anything else? It's weird for me to talk about this because, like,
I'm not sure what to call this because, like, I wanted to call it like a hook, but I don't know if, like, technically if it actually is a hook. But the recurring "ooh" that she does, when she says "ooh" or "oh," you just typed it as well.
Oh no, I was typing in response to Trick Switch.
Yeah, I know. But I really like that as like a kind of like recurring thing that's happening in the song because it stands out a lot, and I feel like you could sing that in a more just like in a less of a standout way, like where it's just like the lines are kind of just flowing with each other. And I think the reason why it like stands out as like a hook to me is because like it's part of the pre-chorus, I'm guessing. It's kind of hard to tell like what the structure of the song is, but like it happens twice back to back in the pre-chorus. And then in the chorus there is a line that says, "Oh, I got ahead of myself, I bet," and she reprises that vocalization for the so it's like, is it a hook? I don't know, but it happens later in a context where it's not the same as where it first originally happened, and I was like, oh, it's like it reminded me back of that one moment where she did it earlier, and it happens a lot throughout the song, and there are like some subtle variations of it, which makes it even more exciting whenever we get back to it. But yeah, I really like that as like a recurring element of the song. That just, it feels like it's very, it just reminds me of the song. Like it's something that's going to like stick with me. And it's like, when I think of this song, I think of like that vocalization, even though it's just one word and it's not even like really a word, it's an exclamation. But it feels like it's part of the identity of the song. It feels, like very strongly about the identity of the song. And I like that. I thought that was a really cool choice.
You're saying when you think of the song, you think of ooh.
Yeah, I think of ooh.
Yeah.
I think of ooh, and I also think about the line, "Now she's buying waffles and I'm looking for dessert." And I don't think I'm ever gonna forget that line. It's like, part of me is like, I don't know if I'm supposed to take that literally as like in a storytelling sort of way, where it's like you're giving us more context of the story, or if that's like some sort of like metaphor where it's a metaphor for the situation. I don't know. But
yeah, Trick Switch says they thought it was a double entendre, and I think that's probably a really good point. That's what I typed "oh" at, because that makes a lot of sense too.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
I also think we've talked before about like specifics in lyric writing, right? And how specificity can sometimes distract from if you're trying to tell us a feeling, but if you're trying to paint a picture and tell a story, it can like really help set that scene.
Yep.
And I feel like the frozen food aisle and the waffles and the dessert is sort of setting the scene, and also helping us understand the character who's speaking, because I think this is very much like a character song.
Yep.
And I think the ooh is kind of that for me too, that like I'm imagining just like a very drunk woman in a bar trying to talk to her ex and trying to convince her ex to come out and go home, right? And like let's make the same mistake and then let's break down again. Like our relationship's gonna break down. So let's just, who cares? We've already done it once, we'll do it again, right? And to me that ooh is like that very drunk, like slurring words kind of like, and the constant persistence too of like this, it's like 3 minutes of the same thing, trying to convince somebody to do the same thing, that if they've said no the first 10 times, you're probably not getting anywhere. But yeah, that's where that did for me.
I like it.
Yeah, it seems like a fun character.
Very fun.
Well, it does it does sound like your sister has had a lot of like evolutions throughout her career as a musician, as an artist, and it seems like people have also had trouble figuring out what way to label all these different sorts of sounds that she does, or her trademark things like storytelling and things like that. I was curious, like, is there anything in particular with like your sister's music that you feel is like a favorite memory or moment with following her journey? It doesn't have to be like a milestone or anything, but like anything that when you think about her music, that it's like something you specifically kind of take out as like a favorite thing that you like.
That's a really hard question because it's so broad.
Yeah.
When she was in college, sorry, Karen, she wrote a song called The Killer of Houseplants.
Oh.
And it gets stuck in my head sometimes. And I don't think it exists anywhere. I think it was a thing that like if she played it outside of her house, it was probably like once at the local college coffee shop. But I think she should bring it back. This is a plea, Karen, to bring back The Killer of Houseplants. I know you still know it.
Reimagining.
I know it's in a notebook somewhere. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's probably not a great example, but that's the first thing that came to mind when you asked that question. So there you go.
No, I think that's great. I think that's awesome. Maybe
it
we'll
went
get
something like, "I'm just killer of houseplants, baby." I'm just killer of houseplants. And I really think it could catch on.
I think so. I mean, go ahead.
I also really appreciate that this totally tracks with like someone who could be related to Kay in terms of the sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking more for like an answer, like maybe like there was like a pun that she put into a song that you can't get out of your head, but this is even better.
There you go. That's what I've got for you. Yeah. No, I don't know. If you're like favorite songs, she has a song called off of, I don't remember which record it's on, but it's one of the more recent ones called Pink Leather Boots, and it's a story song. There's like an animated video to go with it, and that one's really super fun. It's another kind of silly. My favorite of hers are always the silly ones, especially because I'm not like a huge country fan to begin with. So it's harder for me to get into like serious country, I guess. But the sillier like rockabilly type stuff that she has, I really like. Cool. Well, if there's nothing else, I'd say off of The Restless, my favorite songs are That's Not My Dream Couch, which was my other contender to bring today. And it's definitely more in the Pink Leather Boots era genre, but with a silly, with sort of a silly thing here. I will say there's context to it. I think she said she was having a conversation with her best friend, who she also used to make music with and who has vocals on this current record. But she was having a conversation with her best friend and sort of talking about like people and how like if it's not like the right fit, she doesn't really want to put energy into that relationship. She was probably speaking more romantically. I don't totally know. And since she didn't do the song, that would have been her intro. Sorry, my bad. I chose the breakdown. But yeah, and then she was like, she somehow ended up talking about couches, and so it's called That's Not My Dream Couch. And it's really fun. I'll post that in the Discord too. But that and Rock the Boat, which is a totally different sound and much more serious, and I've posted that in our Discord before. Are you raising your hand?
Yes. That does remind me of something. I'm glad that you brought up that song, because something that this is tangentially related to the music. Because I was reading the lyrics to the song on the Bandcamp, I did see that she does have some apparel for the music on sale, which I am going to be ordering myself one of these Dream Couch shirts, because I think the apparel that she has for this album looks awesome. I like the Dream Couch design for it. It looks really, really great. But also to see that she's a fan of couches, we got the couch on the album cover. We had a conversation recently in the Discord about like what is a album that you own physically that's significant to you, and my the one that I contributed was the album No Need to Argue by the Cranberries, which is I think all their albums include a couch. Actually, all their album covers include a couch in some shape or form.
Interesting.
But yeah, they're sitting on a couch on that album cover, and it seems like a lot of like significant albums have like couches. Like there's the Crosby, Stills and Nash album cover that has a couch. Paramore, their debut album has a couch. Couches are pretty significant with music.
Have you looked into this, or do you know all this off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head.
Do you just have like you just flipping through records in your head and you have a section specifically of couches?
Listen.
Are they sorted by items?
Yes.
So many questions.
But yeah, I think it's really cool. The couch really stood out to me. I'm gonna get myself a shirt. Check out the apparel. It's really cool.
Yeah, I actually helped fund her Kickstarter, and so I should have had my shirt, but then I made a mistake and I didn't respond to the email asking me what size I wanted.
Dang.
So I haven't gotten my shirt yet, or else I'd be wearing
There's
it today.
no possible way for you to get it now. Just
No.
not gonna happen.
No, I'm never getting that shirt.
Nope.
I don't know how to contact the artist or their management, which is them. Okay. Goodness. Well, I hope you all get to sit on your dream couches today. I think that's it for this song.
Okay. Alexis, King of Sofas.
I don't know. I feel like Nora.
At least you didn't say Sofa King.
No, you did it for me. Outro. Outro.
Outro. I've been laughing so much now, it's hard to get my mouth to say the word outro.
You know what
I'm
else
just
is a hard
thirsty.
word to say? Nepotism.
Nepotism. That's going to be the title of that song.
Is this nepotism? Yes.
Just nepotism. Oh, speaking of song titles, our lovely watchers, the hardest part about uploading these to YouTube is deciding what the titles should be. So if y'all ever have any ideas, please tell us, because that is honestly the majority of the work. I'm not saying I want you to do my job for me, but I would love more clever outcomes than what I come up with sometimes,
Gotta
which
outsource it.
honestly
Crowdsource.
stupid. Yeah. I'm outsourcing. There's a pun in there somewhere. I've lost it.
Couch it for later.
I thought you said couch chipper later.
Couch
It was
what?
one word.
Those are sounds.
I don't know, like something that makes things into couches. A couch chipper later. I'm devolving quickly. I think I need water.
Okay.
I'm out.
Right. Bye, y'all. Kay needs water.
Thanks for tuning in.
Because
Thanks
she's
Kay needs
a
water.
plant that does not get killed by her sister. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. Anyways,
Killer
bye.
houseplants.
Bye.